Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 4 of the Destination Hoop podcast. I'm your host, Adam On. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know you've got a plethora of different choices to choose from, and so very much appreciated from yours truly. This is definitely the lull period of the NBA offseason, but we've got a few stories to talk about. It's time to look around the NBA world at the top stories. The first article from NBA.com, I know I'm a little late to the game, but it is about the legend Bill Russell. And there's nothing that I can say that's going to do justice for all the things that he's accomplished in his career. And many people have already discussed the things that he's done. But having just listened to a few different podcasts and reading some articles about Bill Russell, I learned a lot of things. More than just the 11 out of 13 years that he won 11 championships, that he was the first black head coach, that he marched civil rights with Martin Luther King Jr. The guy obviously is a legend. And I agree with the fact that Magic Johnson mentioned that he would like the NBA to just retire jersey number 6. And I think that would be a great way to honor Bill Russell. Another thing that I learned about him is that he was just an amazing athlete. Setting aside all the other things that he's done, it makes me really think that he would have been a beast in the NBA today. He competed in high jump. He ran the 4x4 40, which is a 400 meter. He was an amazing athlete, and they didn't have the technology and the shoes and the equipment that they have today. I would imagine that Bill Russell would have been beasting and feasting in today's NBA. It's a shame that we don't have all the recorded blocks that he registered in each game. But yeah, it would have been pretty amazing. I know you can kind of vicariously see that through NBA 2K, but it's not the same. But RIP Bill Russell, a definite legend in all of NBA. Let's take a gander at the next article here, and that is from ESPN.com. NBA sources investigating New York Knicks for possible tampering in the signing of Jalen Brunson. I suppose the first thing you want to mention is, what is tampering? It's basically when another NBA team outright contacts a player during the season that's on another team. In 2021, the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls were both penalized second-round draft picks. That's basically like a slap on the hand. It's well believed that most league executives have already ironed out deals way before the free agency even begins. So basically, in my opinion, let's just get rid of the tampering rules. It gives every team the same opportunity to do its due diligence to win a player over to join their team. It's nearly impossible to keep track of who's talking to who anyway. Let's get rid of tampering. Okay, so let's look at the next article. We've got Charles Barkley saying he's going to stay with Turner Broadcasting after entertaining the Live Golf interest. Thank goodness. Sir Charles is staying with TNT at least until his contract ends in 2 years. I'll tell you, of course, I think they have set the absolute standard in terms of entertainment, in terms of just the banter back and forth between Shaq and Kenny the Jet and Charles Barkley and Ernie Johnson. It's so entertaining to watch. So thankfully, we have Sir Charles coming back to the TNT broadcast and not trying to juggle 2 responsibilities with the Live Golf, or even just leaving TNT and going straight over to Live Golf. So thankfully, we don't have to worry about the entertainment value of the TNT NBA broadcast. Let's look at the next article. This is from Sports Illustrated, titled "Kevin Durant Will Meet with Nets Owners This Week," per report. With Kevin Durant, everyone is kind of in a holding pattern. Just yesterday, the Ringer staff wrote a great article entitled, "What's the Most Interesting Outcome of the Kevin Durant Saga?" Each staff member kind of wrote about which team they would like to see Durant go on. And I actually just wrote an article that kind of expounds upon that article on destinationhoop.com. Check it out. And it addresses my response with the hopes that the hypothetical situation that Durant gets traded to the Portland Trailblazers. I know it's a long shot, but it was really interesting to read their article. And I thought it'd be really nice to at least contemplate the hypothetical of Durant going to the Trailblazers. And moving on to the last article of the day, we've got an old one that addresses the Jazz trade with Rudy Gobert to the Wolves in that multiplayer deal. Now, a shout out to my friend John. He kind of asked me if I could elaborate on my own thoughts regarding this trade. Of course, Danny Ainge, he set a bar so high for future trades that this is why we kind of stalled with the Durant and the Donovan Mitchell trade and why we're kind of going through this lull period. But even though as much as people were saying Danny Ainge came away with that big haul, I also kind of look at the Timberwolves and I actually kind of like the trade. You've got kind of a shout out to the old days of the 80s and 90s NBA where the big men made such a huge impact on the game. Minnesota is known as Twin Cities, and so we've got the Twin Towers with Karl Anthony Towns and the Stifle Tower and Rudy Gobert. So I actually love the trade for both teams. I think when you have Rudy Gobert, you have this huge advantage in defense. When he was on the court last year, the Jazz were actually number one on defense. And then when he was off the court, they reverted to only the 21st best team on defense. So you obviously see an amazing defender in Rudy Gobert. And I think that with him and Cat, and then you had, of course, D'Angelo and the Ant-Man and Jaden McDaniels, you got quite a formidable starting five. With Minnesota being that small market team, they kind of have to go for that grand slam. They have to really hit it out of the ballpark because we know that those small market teams just are not going to be able to attract the high caliber free agents off the market. And so I applaud Minnesota for taking that chance and really going for this like all for nothing. However, of course, in the league today, there's a huge advantage in the playoffs with having 5 shooters out on the floor. And that could be a disadvantage for Minnesota because, of course, Gobert kind of got exposed a little bit with the last couple playoffs with the Mavs and the Clippers from the past. So we'll see if they're going to be able to utilize Gobert and maybe he'll have a better perimeter defense with the Minnesota team than he had with the Jazz team. So I'll tell you what, they're definitely going to be a league pass team to watch. And the true success of Minnesota, as much as Cat and Gobert are getting the headlines right now, I think that you're going to have to look at the Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards. He is going to be a beast, and I'm really excited to see his development. Hopefully, he's going to be able to take that next step, maybe get the most improved player, get an all-star nod, get on the all-team NBAs. If the Ant-Man can do that, the sky's the limit for Minnesota. All right, well, that closes out our episode for today. For you YouTube audience, let me know down in the comments what you think about any of the topics that were mentioned today. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for new videos. Of course, in the meantime, it would be amazing if you could subscribe to the Destination Hoop podcast so you never miss new episodes. Rate and review my podcast at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Of course, you can read new articles I post directly on destinationhoop.com, and I just put one up on a hypothetical Portland Durant trade. Anyways, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Until next time, peace out.